Okay. Now it's
We're
time.
having all kinds of issues here.
Are you having problems? I'm sorry.
No, it's not me. It's Facebook.
Poor baby.
It's
That
Facebook.
was quite an intro.
Yeah, that was quite an intro.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a commercial break.
Trying to get Facebook to cooperate.
Well, you know something. There's this is what's good about doing something live.
Jeez, it never ends, does it?
Yeah, but you know something? You're good. I mean, you can handle. You don't get too flustered. Me, I'd be throwing things around the room. And speaking around the room, hey, guy, look what I have.
I know.
Look what I have sitting next to me over here. This is all Fabrizia's products, and I am thrilled. I am thrilled because in a few minutes we're going to have Phil. You remember Phil when he was on with us way back in the day, probably about 12, 13 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fabrizia Spirits. Yeah.
I was surprised that I was working a show the last time he was on.
Yeah. Phil's a good guy.
I remember he brought samples.
Yeah, he shipped them. He had somebody bring them here today.
No, in the last appearance. So I always remember the people who bring samples.
Yeah, well,
you know how that works.
This is it. It's all about if it's free, it's for me.
Yeah.
You know, but look at that product line. You know, when he first came here, and we're talking about Phil Mastroianni, Phil and his brother Nick, boy, I'll tell you what they've accomplished in 16 years, mind-boggling. I love to see Italians do well. I mean, really, yeah. I do. And these two guys, Lou, they had a dream.
Yeah, I love these stories.
They had a dream.
Yep.
They were working out of their father's garage making limoncello. And all of a sudden it becomes a reality, a huge reality. And, you know, this is just some of the product line that they have now. I didn't even know that they had a bakery. Yeah.
No, but you're burying the headline.
Yeah.
You're burying the headline. I didn't know about that centerpiece there.
So they're using and every bit of that lemon that's coming up, you know. I know next week we're doing our show from Sicily with Esther.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're not in Sicily. She's in Sicily.
Yeah.
We're not in Sicily. She's in Sicily.
No, she's in Sicily.
Yep.
And the lemons for the limoncello and all the products that they make at Fabrizia comes from the foothills of really close to where they're located, where they stay, their residence. It's right at the foothills of Mount Etna. So it's on the east side of Sicily.
Wow.
And I think all the soil, and we'll talk to Phil about this, but, you know, I think that ash that comes up, that's why the soil is so rich. Everything grows. You'll be driving on these roads, Louis. You're going, say, from Catania, you're driving down to Palermo, going across.
Yep.
And what you see growing on the side of the roads, it's mind-boggling. When I say mind-boggling, stuff just grows crazy. Just grows.
All right, but you're burying the lead. Forget the lemons.
Yeah.
It's the green stuff in the middle.
Oh,
that
the pistachio.
Was a shock to me this morning.
Ooh, you have that? Yeah. Let me tell you, if that doesn't put a smile on your face, nothing will. You have a nice little, you know, take it out of the freezer, pour yourself a nice little nip.
I love pistachios.
I mean, that's the most fun you're going to have with your clothes on for the whole day. I'm serious.
All right, Phil's with us. Let's bring
Phil's back on with us.
Happening.
There he is.
What's happening, guys?
You know something? Doing a show with you is an experience.
It's not Phil's fault. No, none of this is Phil's fault.
I think that's because of you, Mike.
I know. Yeah.
Where was your family from in the foothills of Mount Etna? What town?
My mother-in-law was from Catania. Actually went back when she was Phil. She was 88 years old. To find the house that she was born in. And she had more energy than everybody.
When she was 88. She went
88.
Made it
88.
Wow.
God bless her. She lived to be 98. And the woman, I never heard her speak, Louis, I never heard her speak ill of anyone, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And she just missed being 98. And she lived with me for 22, 23 years. I never regretted one day. Never.
Of course.
She was a peach. appreciated whatever you did for her. She appreciated it. Her and Mother Angelica, that was her sidekick in crime. She'd watch that TV show over and over and over and over and over again. And just a nice lady. But we did find the house where she was born. So that was a good thing. That was quite an accomplishment. And it wasn't easy either, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It worked
Well,
out good.
sounds like a wonderful woman, and the fact that she wanted to go find that spot, and it meant a lot to her. It goes to show that people appreciated different things, I think, back then, what meant the most to people. It's a beautiful area though, where these lemons come from, and we've been able to go over there a good amount. The family, we buy them from one family, and their facility where they wash and peel everything is right north of Taormina in a little town called Rocca It's about 10 miles north of Taormina, which is, of course,
I was just going to say,
a famous resort town. But the lemons mostly are grown outside of the city of Syracuse, which is further south in that area. So they're grown about an hour or two south of where the processing facility is. But it's a beautiful area, and really been able to. That's one of the biggest changes to jump around or jump ahead. But when the last time I was on, it was 2013. And we were still figuring out how to make limoncello, to be honest with you. And it wasn't for another 4 or 5 years that we realized we should head over to Sicily and start bringing in the fruit from there, the real fruit, if you will. And that was a really good thing we did.
Phil, you and your brother Nick, and I said this earlier when you were getting set up, you guys had a dream that became a reality. And I think that's incredible. I mean, was it your uncle that talked to you guys about coming back to the United States? I remember the story a little bit. Could you care to tell our listening audience what exactly took place?
So what exactly took place is my great aunt Rosina, who passed away, sounds a lot like the person you were speaking about. She passed away this January at 88, and she brought me down to Calabria. Well, when I was 20 years old, and introduced me to her in-laws and some of our extended family. Yep. And what was a very magical experience for me. And one of my cousins who I met during this trip made homemade limoncello. And what I decided to do when I got home is start making it for fun. And actually, that was like 5 years later. I kept going back to Calabria to see these families. And when I was 25, I started making homemade limoncello to show my Uncle Dom, to show my Uncle Tony, and what I could do, essentially, to try to, because they were all making the homemade wine. They wouldn't drink mine. But so I started making this homemade limoncello, and I gave it to my Uncle Joe on my mother's side of the family one night. And he looked at me and he said, "Phil, this is what you should be doing." I go, "Come on, Uncle Joe, that would never work." He goes, "No, you're on to something." And that literally is.
That was the spark.
That was the spark, and I never looked back from there.
Wow. I give you guys so much credit. You opened up a facility in Industrial Way in Salem, New Hampshire, and you've expanded and expanded. From just you and your brother from the beginning, how many employees now at Fabrizia?
We hover right around 20, a little bit more like 25 in the summer, 20 in the off season. And so we have 5 salespeople that are out in the market selling the product from down to Florida. We have one in Chicago, a guy down in New York, some in New Jersey. Oh, wow. Yeah, I sort of take the lead up here at home. And then we have about 15 people that are here in Salem, New Hampshire, where we do all of the production. We do everything in-house. We bring these lemons in. We got to make sure this strike that's going on in New York ends within the next 2 months, because our first load of lemons will be being picked up sometime in November, and we bring them over.
How many crops can you get off a lemon tree? Can you pick them twice?
Yeah, well, they grow all year in Sicily, even in the summertime. In the summer, they have a variety called I Verdelli, which means the green ones. And they're expensive. They're green, and they really are green, but they taste and smell like a lemon. They're very rare. So it flowers all year, but the time of the year where they're in most abundance is called the primo fiore, for first flower. The first flowering takes place in November and December, and that's when the tree is essentially full of lemons, and they're harvested Primo Fiore from December through about March. And any time, I think you can get about 1,500 lemons off a very established lemon tree a year in Sicily. If you're up in the Amalfi or Sorrento area, the lemons are much bigger. You might get half as that many.
It's funny you mentioned the Sorrento, Amalfi area, because I had the pleasure of staying there probably in the early 70s. And the thing that blew me away was the smell of those lemon flowers in the morning. My gosh, because the groves were everywhere. And what a way to wake up. Oh, my aching head. I loved it. I thought it was absolutely incredible. Speaking of Amalfi Drive, you've driven it before, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Going up, we were driving up from the Naples area because we were at Mount Vesuvius, and it's a beautiful, beautiful road, but it's you have to pay attention. With those buses coming down at you, you really have to pay attention. You're up very high. And Lou, all I would hear from Lucille is, "Oh, Mike, look at this, look at this, look at that, look at this." I had both hands on the wheel.
I was trying not to drive off a cliff.
Yeah, trying not to drive off a cliff. It was absolutely hysterical.
Well, Mike, if you don't, keep going. I'm going to show you something.
I just wanted just a quick story. I just wanted to say, I pulled into a rest area, and Lucille used the facilities, and I have this guy come up to me, and he's got a trench coat on, and it's freaking hot, Lou. It's very hot. And I said, "What the hell's with this guy?" So he comes over. He looks at me. He says, "American?" I says, "Yeah." He says, "I have something for you." And he's speaking broken Italian.
Yep.
He says, I have Swiss contraband. And he opens up his coat like you would see in a TV show. Phil, no kidding. He opens up his shirt. He's got watches, his coat, watches on one side, bracelets on the other side, chains hanging down the middle of his chest. It was a freaking hoot. It was really funny. And this guy wouldn't take no for an answer. Lucille gets back. I start driving off, and he's literally hanging on the car. He's like, letting go of the door. I remember that. Jesus, like it happened yesterday. My God, that's unbelievable. But do you believe, Phil, that the lemons that you have and you buy on consignment, it's because of the ash that Mount Etna sets up every once in a while, because of the soil, the nutrients in the soil?
Yes. And what I would say is that they have that in the Naples area too. But I actually give you a more detailed answer, but it's loud here because you actually can see what's going on. I'm on the production line, but I have my Amalfi Coast ride story, and it relates to this machine. So this machine was built in the Naples region. And
really?
Can you see it, Mike? Or am I losing you?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, you can see it? Okay, good. So this machine, I'm going to head back to my office, is built literally in the town next to Pompeii. And when we bought it in 2016 because we could not keep up peeling the lemons by hand anymore. So we went over there, but all we could afford was that machine, but half the size, where it can do 2 lemons at a time, not 4.
Okay.
And we went back and forth with the guy, and I kept on trying to tell him in my broken Italian, because he claimed he didn't speak any English, that we couldn't afford the bigger machine. And he finally spilled the beans that he doesn't make the little machine anymore. So we had come all the way over to Italy, and he wasn't going to make it. So we found a way. He gave us a great deal. We got that machine. And after, he went and showed us one of his clients that had the machine, and they were in a town next to Amalfi. And my brother and I drove that coast after having just bought the machine I showed you, knowing we were going to be able to keep on peeling more and more lemons. And I have to say, don't tell my wife this, but it was one of the more special nights of my life, just driving down the Amalfi Coast with my little brother after having just bought that machine, and the sun was setting. So yeah, it was a really great time. But as for the ash and the lemons, Mount Etna certainly plays a very big hand in the volcanic soil, whether it's the Etna Rosso from Mount Etna or it's the lemons. I asked somebody at a vineyard, there's a town called Noto, N-O-T-O, and any listeners, I highly recommend the town of Noto. It's a hidden gem in Sicily. So I was visiting there with the vineyard last year, and you're like an hour and a half away from Mount Etna, and they were really running on the soil. And I said, I got a question for you because it will help me with my lemons. The lemons are growing near Syracuse. You can't see Mount Etna. And he goes, no, he goes, over the thousands of years, the wind has blown down all of that ash and soil. Yeah, that was, and it actually made sense when you think about the immensity of the amount of time Mount Etna's been there. It hasn't been there for 100 years or 500 years or even 10,000 years. God knows how many millions of years it's probably been there. And so, but it does make a really big difference. But that doesn't discount the ones that come from Amalfi or Sorrento because they got Mount Vesuvius. So they have the same difference.
Yeah, but Mount Vesuvius is like a little kindergarten compared to Mount Etna. I first went to Vesuvius, and I was totally impressed. Then I went to Mount Etna. I mean, it was night and day. I mean, Hey, listen, we need to take a break. Stay with us, and we come back. We got so much to talk about. I want to know how many states you guys are located in now, and it's an incredible story. It really is, and I want us Sicilian Corners listeners to hear it. We'll be right back, everybody.
Ciao, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao!
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverhillbeef.com.
When you dine at Ristorante Melisse in Amesbury, Massachusetts, you feel at home while enjoying an authentic Italian dining experience not to be forgotten. From the appetizer to dessert, you won't regret your choice. Bring your cravings and appetites. They promise you won't leave hungry or without leftovers for the next day. Takeout and catering are also available. Give them a call or visit them online for the menu, online ordering, and reservations. RistoranteMelisse.com. That's RistoranteMolise.com or call 978-388-4844. Ristorante Melisse, where you're treated like family. Legacy Care Law Firm provides estate planning and elder law services to people in the greater Merrimack Valley and southern New Hampshire areas with offices in North Andover and Woburn, Massachusetts, as well as Nashua and Salem, New Hampshire. Discussing family and financial matters with an attorney can be intimidating, but our goal is to help you prepare for the future as you preserve your legacy. We help clients qualify for government medical benefits and ensure their estates are preserved for their families so they don't need to worry about their estate being wiped out by high nursing home expenses. Legacy Care Law Firm attorneys are here to support your journey toward a more secure financial future.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Orthopedics Northeast and Essex Orthopedics have joined forces as Mobility Bone and Joint Institute to bring improved access and outstanding medical care. While our name has changed, our dedication to exceptional care remains the same as it has for the past 30 years. Same location, 16 Pelham Road, Salem, New Hampshire.
This is Cindy.
And Mike Kunstler,
Owners and operators of Four Oaks Country Club and Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
Grazie Italian Restaurant is the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
Why is that?
We have an incredible chef, Oscar Figueroa.
In the words of local famous chef and restaurant owner Lydia Shire,
Oscar thrives on hard work.
he is capable and gifted.
No one makes better food. Scallops, seared to perfection.
House-made ravioli with farm-fresh local corn.
And buttery, tender, lazy man's lobster, just to name a few.
You have to come experience Grazie Italian Restaurant for yourself.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club, 80 Meadow Creek Drive in Drake, Massachusetts. Hope to see you soon.
And we are back. Our guest today is Phil Mastroianni. He owns Fabrizia Spirits, and along with his brother Nicky. And I'll tell you, two guys put their heads together, and a dream has come true for all of them. It's incredible. Phil, I wanted to mention that when I was in Italy, I noticed when they were picking lemons, they were hand picking them. It's not done by a machine, huh?
Not that I'm aware of. Never heard of one. I've seen them in the field. They call it La Squadra, the team, and I've never seen of a machine picking them.
That's good. You know, you in your literature, your promotional literature, you keep mentioning the fact that there's no wax. Can you explain that to our listeners?
Oh, absolutely. And a lemon obviously grows on a tree. That's how God made it. And then you have us trying to commercialize that lemon and be able to ship it and export it, etc. And that is when waxes get involved. And back in the day, the wax used to be a natural beeswax, also, made by nature. Yep. And it does a very good job. Well, as you know, bees are on the decline. There's a whole lot about that. And what industry did is created petroleum-based wax, not made from bees and other waxes. And if you make limoncello with them, you obviously, when you make limoncello, you only use the zest. For anyone that hasn't made limoncello before, I'm sure many of the listeners here not only have made it, but they might have their own brew that could compete with ours.
Well, they try to compete with yours.
Yes, that's right. And so with that being said, you only use the zest. And then what happened was in 2015, I got a call. I never get to take vacations. I took a vacation, and I was just up in York Beach, Maine, so I was only an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, the limoncello went brown. And I'm like, what do you mean? They go, the limoncello went brown. And they send me a photo. And so we thought that maybe there's something in the water, maybe there's something in a pipe. I said, just throw it out, make another one. They made another one. The next day it went brown. So now my brother, he went out and got all new tanks. Maybe something in the tank. It went brown. Well, guess what? Come to find out, the Chileans and the South American fruit, the Mexican fruit, the Argentinian fruit, they were the first ones to start cutting the corner. and they started using these wax. We had it tested. 5% of the limoncello. Ready for this?
Yeah.
5% of the limoncello, Mike, was petroleum wax in the limoncello.
Oh, wow.
So now we say, okay, we're only going to buy them from California. That's around the time we actually went to Italy to get the peeling machine so we could take back a little control of the process. And now, Sunkissed, never have a problem if you're at the supermarket. I highly recommend you buy Sunkissed. There's a brand called Limoniera. You don't see it as much around here, but if you see it, never had a problem. But there's other brands out there. I don't want to name them. I don't want to get sued.
No.
And if you see it coming from out of the country, my guess is there's a 50-50 chance, if not a little higher, they have a fake wax on it. Listen, if you're just going to squeeze the lemon to make a dish, no big deal.
Yeah.
So we buy the family we found in Sicily, and you can find this grove. It's really their grove, but they let us put up a webcam because we said, look, we're only going to buy from you, period. We're not going to buy from anybody else.
Right.
And we want to make this our home. And this guy sells 50 million pounds. That's right now, isn't it? Yeah, that's right now. Look,
that's
the sun's about
to
get going. Yeah, it's 5:30 over there. So I've been where you are many times. And if someone's there working, not from our company, from the Villari family, you can see him there. Mm-hmm. And basically, this guy owns about 1,000 acres of lemon grove, and he has a big processing company. He took us on. We met him in 2017. How did you get to this meeting? Guess what? Cold calling. I cold called. I talked to the son. I convinced the son. We went over. We brought my dad with us, who's a landscaper from Newton, and they'd only talk to my father, who speaks not a drop of Italian, and has no involvement in Fabrizia. But because he was the oldest, they'd only look at him. And I had to keep on
out of
saying,
respect. Out of respect.
Yeah, out of respect, and it's actually really nice. It's refreshing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had to keep saying, no, listen, I'm the one, me and my brother, we're the ones buying the lemons, and so in any case, though, we bought one container. This guy sells 50 million pounds of lemons a year. He brought us on our first order was only for, I don't know, like 30,000 pounds. So he brought us on as a pet project. And now we buy a lot more than that from him every year. But we made this deal. So they don't wax, as in Italy, they don't put wax on any of the fruit.
I know.
Period, Mike. Period. Yeah. Like they just don't even do it. They used to have a little factory at this guy's place near Taormina where they just did Germany, because I guess the Germans like the wax. I was there last fall. They go, we stopped doing it for them too. We just do the regular. No one gets it. But here, I mean, whatever the distributor of the fruit or whatever the retailer of the fruit can do to get it longer, that takes paramount more than the health effects to us. And the FDA goes along with it because guess what? No one even knows. They don't even have to say if they put this wax on it. It's not even on the packaging.
Wow.
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I can tell. I hit a nerve.
Got me worked up. Sorry.
I hit a nerve. It all started with this guy here.
So awesome.
The Fabrizia and, limoncello. I always say lemon, and it's limoncello. Yeah. But boy, you put this in the freezer, and you're sitting out by the pool in a nice hot summer.
That's summer right there.
Yeah, it is summer. I mean, look at the packaging. Your packaging is incredible. Whoever designs your merchandise labels, they do a fantastic job for you. And as you can see, you got a good example of it. But to me, there's always 2 or 3 bottles of this sitting in the fridge. My brother goes bananas for this. Goes absolutely crazy. He just gets up, he walks away, and next thing I know, he comes walking out with a bottle. The other thing that you have that I really, really, really like is Fabrizia Pistachio. And
I'm hitting a liquor store on the way home.
You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to.
No, you love that. You got to take that.
But this to me, it tugs at my heartstrings. It really, really does. Your product line has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's absolutely incredible. This year, you started with the spritz, the limoncello spritz.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to have really taken off for you guys.
The bottled version that you can see there on the top left, it's off to a slower start in the bottle than we would have liked. We did get it into a bunch of Whole Foods across the country, and you can find it handful of places in Massachusetts. You can find everything we have, by the way. If you go to our website, which
what is the website?
FabriziaSpirits.com. We have a website locator we just updated with real-time stores and retailers that have bought the product within the last 90 days. And it does it on its own. It ties into the people that have the reports. Wow. But here's the spritz. They say every 20 or 30 years in the liquor industry, things come back around. And when I started was actually 16 years ago, and limoncello was hot at the time because Danny DeVito had stumbled onto The View and said that he had been drinking limoncello with his good friend George Clooney. And then he started a limoncello brand. And then it sort of simmered down. But Campari, the owner of Aperol, has done a tremendous job creating a sensation first in Italy, then in Europe, and of course it took place, came over here. And the spritz movement was born in the process. And now there's all types of spritzes. There's the Aperol spritz, the original, the Campari spritz, the Hugo spritz, and then of course the newest one, which is really growing fast, which is the limoncello spritz. So limoncello is now having a renaissance because people are like, wait a minute, I love spritzes, and I didn't realize if I add limoncello to my Prosecco and a little bit of soda water, I'll have a lemony version of a spritz.
That's it. You got sparkling wine. And
3, 2, 1.
Huh?
3, 2, 1. 3 ounces sparkling wine.
Yeah.
2 ounces of limoncello. 1 ounce of soda water, and you put it all over ice. It's delicious.
Wow, that's incredible. How many states are you guys in now?
We're in 22 or 23 states. I don't really keep full track of them, and the reason being is that the Northeast and down in New Jersey and now Florida and a little bit New York are a lot of people when they start in any field, they start trying to count how many states. It's 5 or 6 or 7 of those states. We're doing 400 or 500 cases a year. It's 700 or 800. You got to. I am more proud of the states like down in Florida. We landed Disney World. So Disney World.
Wow.
Yeah, if you go to Epcot, they actually serve the pistachio that you like, our limoncello and the cream version on a flight that you can get at the Via Napoli or the Tutto Italia restaurant. We picked it up. It'll be 2 years this winter. And so in Florida, our brand, you're starting to see it in more and more places. If you go to Naples, it's in more and more restaurants. So I'm more proud of that than saying how many states we're in.
No wonder it's the happiest
place on earth.
Yeah, for us, for limoncello, it is. That's right. Yeah, that's the one account my wife and kids want to go and actually visit. By the way, too.
I have one of my godsons down here right now, and the poor bugger went down Wednesday morning. And of course, the weather hasn't been exactly the greatest. But they've been lucking out in Orlando. I mean, it was a little bit windy. They had some little bit of rain, but they're having a hell of a time down there. It's really good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife wanted to know if that meant we get to go to Disney for free. I go, honey, it doesn't work that way. I go,
that's for sure. So. Yeah, that's for sure. But I can see your product in Lord Abbott's and some of the fancier restaurants. You go to the Grand Floridian. Yeah, I could see.
Well, it's only
Lord Abbott,
at
Victoria sitting down.
It's only at the Italy Pavilion in Epcot, but that's where they use the most of it.
Yeah, but it has to be in the Grand Floridian.
It's absolutely remarkable. We have. I'm looking at these variety packs. I can't pick them up and put them to the camera, but Louis is going to look over at it now, and these are variety packs. And you got Italian margarita? Be still my heart. I'm dying to try that. I didn't know you had it. Italian margarita, Italian breeze, and the Italian the lemon. And it's amazing. A nice little variety pack. What a nice gift to bring to somebody's house or to give to somebody. That's great. Speaking of that, can you order online this product?
Yeah, you can, but it really comes from a retailer based down in Connecticut, and the pricing's a little high.
Okay.
I'd recommend you go on that store locator, and you find your local. It doesn't, whether it's a mom and pop or it's Market Basket, whoever it is. I recommend you go there. Total Wine. There's a lot of good mom and pop stores. You'll save money and you keep the money in your neighborhood.
In your facility on Industrial Avenue, is it Industrial Avenue or Industrial Road in Salem?
Industrial Way.
And I was wrong on both accounts. Wow. Do you have a retail outlet there?
No, you can purchase orders from our bakery. If you do a tour, at one point you just put up the sign for the tour. You are allowed to buy our cans at the very end of the tour, direct from us. The pricing's no better than you're going to get down the street at the liquor store in the New Hampshire Liquor Commission or Market Basket or Shaw's, because we don't want to upset anybody.
Convenience. Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm up against a break. I
right.
want you to pay attention to our sponsors. And if you don't get hungry after watching these ads, there's something definitely wrong with you. All right. We're going to be right back, everybody.
Ciao, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao.
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverhillbeef.com.
Sisters and co-owners Antoinetta and Elisa brought their family authentic Italian recipes from Molise, Italy, and a warm and welcoming dining experience to its customers at Ristorante Molise. The combination of their meals made from natural, homemade, fresh ingredients, and your time with family and friends together at dinner time is unmatched. Located in Market Square in the heart of Amesbury, they're open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday from 3 to 9 p.m. and are available for private parties during off hours. For reservations, call them at 978-388-4844. That's 978-388-4844. Legacy Care Law Firm provides estate planning and elder law services to people in the greater Merrimack Valley and southern New Hampshire areas, with offices in North Andover and Woburn, Massachusetts, as well as Nashua and Salem, New Hampshire. Discussing family and financial matters with an attorney can be intimidating, but our goal is to help you prepare for the future as you preserve your legacy. We help clients qualify for government medical benefits and ensure their estates are preserved for their families so they don't need to worry about their estate being wiped out by high nursing home expenses. Legacy Care Law Firm attorneys are here to support your journey toward a more secure financial future.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin-crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Orthopedics Northeast and Essex Orthopedics have joined forces as Mobility Bone and Joint Institute to bring improved access and outstanding medical care. While our name has changed, our dedication to exceptional care remains the same as it has for the past 30 years. Same location, 16 Pelham Road, Salem, New Hampshire.
This is Cindy,
And Mike Kunstler.
owners and operators of Four Oaks Country Club and Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
Grazie Italian Restaurant is the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
Why is that?
We have an incredible chef, Oscar Figueroa.
In the words of local famous chef and restaurant owner Lydia Shire,
Oscar thrives on hard work.
he is capable and gifted.
No one makes better food. Scallops, seared to perfection.
House-made ravioli with farm-fresh local corn.
And buttery tender, lazy man's lobster, just to name a few.
You have to come experience Grazie Italian Restaurant for yourself.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club, 80 Meadow Creek Drive in Drake, Massachusetts. Hope to see you soon.
And we are back, and our guest is Phil Mastroianni of Fabrizia Spirits. And I just want to say, Phil, can we talk a little bit about the bakery division? Because I know nothing at all about that. I'm intrigued by it, and I wish you would tell our listeners, because I have a package in my hand here. These are limoncello cookies, and there's 5 to a package, and I swear these things have to weigh about 14 ounces. They're incredible. I can't wait to dig into these suckers, let me tell you. Are these made on site, or you have a separate division remotely?
Yeah, so we don't risk me losing the Wi-Fi. I won't walk down, but it's on the other end of the building.
Yeah.
It's a small area, about 2,500 square feet. In 2020, our limoncello thing, we had the cans, but the limoncello is the one year we sold a little less than we used. Every year we sold more, and in 2020, with restaurants unable, our close partners, restaurants, our hearts were going out to them. They were doing anything they could to survive,
Absolutely.
and no one was sitting at the bars. Everyone was doing to go. And so a lot of our limoncello goes into cocktails. And so we were doing okay because we sold hand sanitizer and we had our canned cocktails. A lot of people are drinking at home. People are drinking limoncello at home. But we said as the summer's come to end, is there another way we could use our brand and do something with it? And we used to cook with the limoncello or bake with the limoncello all the time. When we started, I'd bring a limoncello cake to tastings on the state highway stores where you weren't allowed to sample the product up in the hand. If you're on 93, right, they'll let you stand there and give away something. So I said, Nick, what do you think we do? Now, Nick did not like the idea. I'm on the record for that. I'm gonna hold on to that and bring it up every time. Our kids are gonna know it. Yeah. But nevertheless, it's been a lot of fun, and everybody. Here's the thing about limoncello, Mike. You were saying how you liked it. That it's enjoyable, it's refreshing. What I said is my grandparents aren't around anymore, but that was a drink my grandmother could have. Everybody could sort of. It's not too strong. And when people think of limoncello, Usually it brings up a good memory. It makes them think of citrus. Our slogan is live life zesty. So what we're able to do with the bakery is put our limoncello into these baked goods. It bakes off so the kids can eat it too. But people can sort of feel like they're enjoying the limoncello moment even when they're not actually drinking. That's what it's all about.
I like it.
Do I see whoopie pies there?
The whoopie pies.
That was our set. So when we first started, we do make everything on hand, and we figured out how to make the cookie, and we put the goods in it, like my grandmother used to say. You got to put the goods into it.
There you go.
And then the whoopie pie was the third thing. This is the second. The whoopie pie was the second thing we figured out how to make because it's easy. Okay, and then the third one was the biscotti, which was a little bit harder. And then we finally realized we really shouldn't have any right doing the baking. We hired professionals. So there's someone named Leanne who for instance, you got those limoncello cookie truffles on there. I can't figure out how to make those. You don't want me making them. But she's a trained professional. And she actually used to work at the Tuscan Kitchen, one of the advertisers, which is a great account of ours, by the way. The Tuscan Kitchen, if you go down to their market and you order, they have a limoncello spritz, and they have a a Mediterranean mule. And they both use our limoncello. We couldn't do it without Joe Faro and the gang down there. So we're very lucky for them.
Joe's the best.
I can attest personally to
Louis, how about
Mediterranean mule?
Blood orange, chocolate Fabrizia Italian biscotti.
Oh. Killing me.
Be still my heart. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. So you guys, you're not letting any time go by. I mean, you're not sitting back and saying, something, we've done pretty good for ourselves. We got it made. I mean, you keep coming out with new products, and you're trying to get into the public mainstream, and it's incredible. I give you, and it's all in house.
Well, thanks, man. And you know what it is that if Nick and I wanted to stay where we are, maybe even be a little smaller, we could scale back. But we have a company where people have chosen that this is where they're going to work. This is where their career is. They want to grow. They want to make more money. They want to see the brand succeed. We're lucky to have. So to compete, we're competing with multinational, multi-billion-dollar companies. We're competing with Bacardi, with Jim Beam, with all these names that are household names. They have incredible amount of resources. So it's one of those things in this industry. You could go big, go home. Yeah, you know what? Me going back out to peel the lemons and sell it right here in New Hampshire and down in the North End, we could do that. I can make a living, but it's not what we want to do right now. And if you want to grow, you have to give it 100%.
No, and you're keeping it authentic too. That's what I like. You're keeping it authentic, and that's very, very important. And I know other members in your family, especially those that live in Italy, appreciate the effort that you and your brother put into this company, because it's authentic, and that's a key word. There's no shortcuts at all. And that to me, that speaks volumes. It really does. The limoncello market share, where does Fabrizia place and throughout the United States?
So in New Hampshire, for instance, we're a hard number one. You have to, even at the restaurants, I think you have to add up the next 6 brands to equal the amount of limoncello we serve at restaurants. In Massachusetts, it's our biggest market, but I don't have that data.
Okay.
I think we're number 3 in Massachusetts. We have a smaller distributor, which doesn't help us because it's who got you started, and there's
it's all about
franchise laws. They do right by us. Don't get me wrong, but we're not with Martinetti. We're not with Horizon, the names you see usually. But I think that we're number 3. Pellini has us beat. And I think we're tied now with Sogno di Sorrento, which is the original pistachio. By the way, we only started making it.
I know
the pistachio because they kept going out of stock on it, and many of our customers in the North End said, "Hey, we can't get it. Will you make it?" I said no for a few times in a row, and then finally. I was at a store and I saw it out. I said, Phil, why are you so brain dead? You got your customers asking you to make a product and you're telling them no. And we started messing around, and it was actually, without a question, the hardest product. If you Google how to make limoncello, and you sort of do the common denominator on all the recipes, it's pretty much straightforward. If you Google how to make pistachio liqueur or pistachio cream, there's like a bunch of different ways, and almost none of them are shelf stable. So that was a very difficult product to make.
That's the key. The alcohol content in your product, say with the limoncello, is what approximately?
26%.
26%. So it's not going to floor you. It's not going to kick you in the butt. I mean, it's refreshing. And the one thing that I say refreshing, Lou, what it's good for after a nice heavy meal, it cleanses your palate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's so important. It really is. And, you know, just don't drink too fast because you get brain dead. Of course, you're going back and you're getting more. But so we got the bakery products. You got all kinds of new products coming out. You know something? Us salute. Good for you guys. I just want to say, if you guys decide to go up and raise the bar, and you decide to go public and sell stock in the over-the-counter, let me know, will you please? I mean, you don't. I know it's information, but you know what I want you to do? I want you to put on a hat that's made out of lemon skin. If you could do that when I talk to you next, I know you're coming out, so I'll be looking for it. You know,
fair enough.
I mean,
well, look, I'll tell you. You know, people always ask, "Oh, you want to sell the company with it?" And I'll say, you know what's funny? No one's ever asked. No one's ever came knocking. But at the end of the day, I don't even know what I'd be doing. You know, it goes back to what you said. You have to love what you do, and then that in that authenticity. And you see how I'm getting all fired up talking about the wax and the lemons that are out there, etc. And you have to have that purpose, and that's what we have here. And so I think we're going to be doing it for a little time to come.
You know, Louis, lemon grows were first grown in Israel.
Okay.
And it's amazing the life. I mean, you look at like the limoncello. I mean, going back, say 30 years ago, there was no market. There was no really, right, Phil? I mean, this is a relative.
No, really. I mean, it was extremely small. It was rare. I mean, even in Italy, it's small because there's so many local producers. In Italy now, some people are starting to finally pick actual brands.
Right.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, with so many Italians, you'd think it'd be a bigger market, but it was mostly homemade, right? People just made it at home.
Mostly homemade, mostly regional, and very cheap. And that was the reason that some of the bigger companies wouldn't make it, is because there's just so many cheap options available.
Yeah, I my niece Joanne makes her own limoncello, the creamy, and I have to tell you, she does a damn good job on it. She really does, you know. So that's why I invite.
Well, hey, look, and I want, and Mike, I want to be clear when you said, you know, maybe some people making it at home, you know, they'll try to make it as good as it. Really, unfortunately for us, if someone's going to take the time to peel some good lemons, infuse it for the right amount of time, and put the right amount of sugar and water together, we can't do it any better than them. We really can't, because that's what we do. You know, we do it the right way, and if you do it the right way at home, it's going to end up tasting just as good.
So you guys are after the skin, and what happens to the lemons themselves?
Well, that's where all those canned cocktails come in. You know, the ones that you have on your table. These ones right here.
You're utilizing 100% of the lemon right now.
Yes.
When you first started,
we process almost 1 million lemons a year, and we juice every one of them.
Handpicked lemons.
Once in a while, if we're about to have a strike, because people are tired by May, our first load of lemons will show up in December, and we'll be done peeling them at the end of May. And when that last container of lemons comes in May, I mean, I'm scared to tell people it's coming, literally. You know, we'll have just finished one, and I'll be like, oh, there's another one. We peel them all on that machine, which we named Giuseppe after my Uncle Joe, who gave me the idea. And then we have a juicing machine, and we juice them all, and it goes into all these cans. Well, it goes into the lemonade version, and we have a Sicilian lemon vodka soda, all available at local places, but also at Shaw's and Market Baskets if you're listening in the Northeast. But I got to tell you, Mike, you never know where these podcasts go nowadays, because I was in Sacramento, California last Thursday there's a holiday show with our distributor. I gave a bottle I went to a restaurant that had purchased Fabrizia in Sacramento. We just got out to California last year. I said, thank you for the business. And some guy walked up to me while I was having an appetizer. He goes, are you one of the brothers? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I heard you on a podcast. And I don't do a lot of big podcasts, Mike. I wasn't on, he goes, I heard, I know all about you guys. I can't believe you did it. And it's like those little things that are really exciting for me. I'm like, I can't believe there's some guy out here. I've never been to Sacramento. I didn't think I was ever going to go to Sacramento my whole life. And now here I am, and there's a guy that heard of me and Nick. So those are the encouragements that keep me going.
You're turning out to be a living legend, dude.
Yeah. well, because someone heard me on a podcast like this. My point is, I'm following your footsteps, Mike. You're the legend.
I thank you so much. Hey, Phil, we could do this for another hour easily. Next time you come in, we're going to bring the other brother, the other co-owner, the other co-founder, and we're going to have him sit down with us, and we're going to have a great discussion. Listen, have a wonderful weekend. I know you're busy. I know you got a lot going on. Take care of yourself, and thank you very much for joining us here on the Sicilian Corner podcast.
Mike, God bless. Lou, thanks for having me. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the weekend. Take care.
Ciao, everybody.
Bye.